Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of YYYC, a show where we uncover,
discover,
and present to you
the talent shaping Calgary's urban identity.
I'm Telly,
I'm Yasmene,
and in today's episode, we meet with the one and only
TheRealTripJ, man.
Trip
How y'all doing?
J.
Hope y'all are blessed.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you guys for having me on this, actually.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys this
That's
platform.
great.
I know you
Thank
guys are
you.
doing some pretty cool things for the city, so
Appreciate that.
it's lit. Gotta support, you know?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
A show presented to you by Bus 403.
YYC Records.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for
100%.
taking the invitation. Like, I've been actually quite excited.
Oh, hey,
to-
I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to it as well. I know, like, it was like a last minute thing to kind of get it together, so.
Yeah. Which, does that explain the nice dress, the suit, man? Because you look fresh, bro.
Yeah,
That's a first.
I mean, I try to carry myself with a little bit, you know, higher quality, a little bit, but you know, but at the same time, also here on business, so
Yeah.
you know, in and out of meetings and all that. So you know, there's a lot more things going on than just music. But music is obviously the forefront.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the business maybe if you're down to share.
A little bit. I'll touch on it a little bit. Yeah.
All right, I'll jump you into the music. You said in your bio that Eminem was really being an inspiration for you when you started.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Do you remember the first track of Eminem that you heard? And where were you? Place us a bit in time.
I think it was like It was like My Name Is.
Hey.
My Name Is. I was 4 years old. Actually, it was the first rap song I ever heard.
You were 4 years old.
4 years old. I wasn't supposed to be hearing it though. Like, how it was because I was in the States at the time. I was just there visiting my uncle and his fam, and I was like coming down the stairs and like my aunts were listening to his album, and obviously like My Name Is came on and they noticed I was there. Like, oh, you're not supposed to be hearing this song, but I heard it. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I was 4 years old. I remember, and then they told me to go back upstairs.
That's good.
And I went upstairs. I didn't fully go back. You know how like you have the stairs, you can see it.
Oh, you did that
I was
too.
I was just chilling there, listening. Like, what is this? Like, I never heard this before. So I was like, yeah, I immediately got hooked on to rap. Like, yeah. She's still like, really one of my biggest influences right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it. That was the day.
Yeah, that was the day.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to one of our other questions, how do did you check the last album? What's your thought? Because
His most recent.
on Eminem, what's your thought if we talk a bit about that? Because you say he's still your
Of course. I actually want to rap with him one day, and I believe I will personally.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, he's at a place right now where he's being compared to himself. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's really gonna like throw disses at Eminem without him like ending your career for free. Sometimes you'll just do it. But it's like I personally liked his most recent album. Like I know a lot of people did not. Like I guess in Eminem standards it kind of flopped. But I really like he's gotten a lot better at wordplay and just kind of becoming more creative with the way that he styles things.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he kind of got a little more personal with this particular album. And so, I don't know, I liked it. I personally liked it. Maybe because I'm a fan, maybe I'm biased a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was lit. I thought it was lit.
Yeah. That's kind of because like the fans nowadays, I'm like, there's really My Name Is what? Fans that are like, I don't know too much. That's the real true fans.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Because nowadays it's beats and it's not as much lyricism.
Yeah.
That's really people are looking for. So like, you know, it's good to mix and match a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked it personally.
Nice.
Let's bring it back a little bit. We were talking about what inspired you, and that's how we got into the Eminem thing. But what else inspires you to write your music? What inspired you to get into music? A particular person?
That's a good question. Like, a lot of things inspire. I think everyday life inspires me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Just the things I go through, whether it's like God things or relationship things or like family things, like drama, whatever. I write about whatever I experienced in life. Like, obviously, I had a kind of a shadier, earlier childhood. You know, I was born in Winnipeg. I actually lived there a few years. Lived in Toronto for 5 years. Got involved with some interesting things there, you know what I'm saying? We'll leave that where it's at. But moved to Calgary when I was 8 and then lived there for about 11, 12 years. But I've also lived in Africa for a couple of years. I lived in the States, so like it gives you a lot of perspective. And so like for me, I'm motivated by just I want to be able to help people through things and like actually write about life and write about truth and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I'd say like I'm inspired even by God to write. I'm inspired by people. I'm inspired by just situations. And so that's really what drives. I want to be the best one day. I believe I will be, but it's just obviously I was going through a lot of personal things a few years ago, and so I took like a 4-year break.
Yeah, I've heard.
But at that time, I was I already had stuff with like 50 Cent's crew, like G-Unit and all that, and some of the top MCs in Canada at the time. I was 21, but then I just stopped, and then so we really started going again back in 2017. So it's starting again. It's great. I'm getting hit up by a lot of different celebrities now, which is crazy. People are hitting me up all over the world. Shout out everyone on IG, by the way.
Hey.
Follow me, obviously, TheRealTripJ. It is what it is. Hit that up. You know what it is. IG,
Link.
Twitter, TheRealTripJ down below. Click that, you know what I'm saying? No, but it's actually all love, and so that's what I'm inspired by, man. Like I want to be able to like talk about real life things instead of just like you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just I just want to be above that a little bit,
Nice. Okay. I have a question related to that, but more personal thing. TheRealTripJ.
Yeah.
Sick ass name, bro. How did you come up with TheRealTripJ?
Yeah.
What's the meaning behind it?
It's a handle, like, because the thing, Trip J was already taken as a handle. So, like, I actually go by Trip J. So, like, essentially, in junior high, I went by Double J. And my name is Jerry Joshua Jr.
Oh, okay.
And so, my gym teacher, my grade 8's, homeroom, whatever, called me Double J. I'm like, I got 3 J's in my name. So it's Triple J, but I'm like, triple sounds lame. So I was like, okay, Trip J. And that's really how the name came to be. But then the real Trip J was already taken, so I had to put TheRealTripJ. So I'm like, I can't. You can't stand for fakes, man.
Yeah. So now you're the OG.
Yeah, you have to be. You gotta be.
The TheRealTripJ.
That's where it came from. It's lit though.
So what does a life look like? One day. What does a day look like for you?
For me,
Yeah.
a lot actually. Like whether it's recording, whether it's making connections with people with A&Rs, here and in USA or wherever. I got people, obviously you got to hit up IG one time, a few times during the day. You're not gonna keep up with people like whatever, Twitter, whether it's Facebook or whatever. Messages, like I wake up with like 100 messages every day, sometimes more. So like it's great like to try to interact with people that are trying to reach out to you and all that. And, like I got people sending me beats from everywhere. I got people trying to hit me up for verses. People trying to like collab, like so it's like.
And how did you go about that then? Like to get that, like is it just kind of digging a little into it as like advice for other maybe other artists or people, our audience? Like how did you get to that? Point? Like because that seemed quite interesting. If you can share,
I can. Just be good. Just be good, and people naturally reach. Like if you're passionate about what you do, people can tell that you're passionate about it. They'll reach out to you. Like a lot. Like for me personally, obviously I have a spiritual faith. That's my faith. Everyone has different faith. Obviously, I believe in God and Jesus Christ. Everyone has different faith. A lot of it comes from that. Like God just putting me in certain places that will allow me to actually thrive. And then I can meet people. I got mentors that I look to that can. Like I'm naturally introverted. You can't tell now, but like in
trust
recent,
me, I am.
no idea. Yeah, 100%. Like over the past 3-4 years, I really try to come out of that shell. 3, 4, 5 years, and now like to be able to just interact with people and just whatever. It comes naturally, right? And sometimes you got to dig things out of people. Like you're never gonna know someone's an artist unless you ask like, "What are you about?" Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, it just starts to come. And so, I can't really tell you where exactly it comes from. It's just as you're continuing to do what you do, be passionate, be actually authentic. A lot of people. Am I allowed to just curse on here? I don't curse a lot, but I say nigga a lot. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit.
No racist or I know people will be finicky about that a little bit, but
okay.
I don't mean any offense. Yeah, 2018.
So come on, guys.
But no, like a lot of niggas is just like they're not authentic, man. They try to be things that they're not, and people can tell. Eventually, real recognize real is what it is. Like fans are looking for real people. Regular people are looking for real people, authentic. Like you follow authentic people. Like all these different artists. Like if you look at the top artists in the game that have been in the game for quite some time, they're still in the game. Those are the most authentic people. You got the J's, you got the M's, you got the J. Cole's, you got the Drake's. I mean, I know now it's kind of servicing that homie doesn't write a lot of the verses, you know. I'm gonna leave that where it's at.
It's the music, man.
It's the music, but that's what I'm saying. Like people look to that, and so as long as you're just being yourself, being who you are actually truly, people will just naturally gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening.
Okay, I want just before we get to Yai's question, it's the introvert thing.
Yeah.
Like you say, you got out of it. You're still introverted, but you find a way to maybe get out more. Is there anything in particular that you did that you felt like work for any introvert there? That's because you seem to be
not introverted.
Oh yeah,
introverted extrovert. I don't know what they call those anyway. Essentially,
ambivert they call it.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah, they come in with crazy names.
Solid ambivert, whatever you want to call yourself, low Uzi vert, whatever you want to call yourself. To be honest with you, like for me, I can't really even take you know the credit for that. Obviously, it's God on that, but then also I got mentors as well, like and that's kind of maybe touching on the business side, but they really helped me to come out of my shell with regards to like talking to people, regards to like forcing myself. Like I used to have to talk to myself before I can talk to anyone. Like I used to just be like we'd be in the same room chilling, like literally right here, we're just doing our own thing. I wouldn't say anything. I'd be talking to myself like, yo, you just gotta say hi, yo, just say what's up, you know. I'm like, that's freaking weird. And that's how it was. I was weird for a long time. But like it's obviously different now. Like now I can just like get up a conversation real quick.
Nice.
You know, find out about you. You know, we become homies. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a doctor's office, I don't go there too much, but like anywhere, like superstore, you're shopping. You know, hit up a studio. You make friends quick times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
quite an important because we are in an extroverted world, and then the other thing I realized making research about music and to other people is music is all about chatting to people and relationship networking. So an introvert musician is have good luck with that if you don't pass that. So
you have to be really skilled, and you need some. If you're really introverted and you don't actually talk to people, you need to have like a Dr. Dre put you on. Because that was Eminem. Eminem was not like. Marshall was not a even now I don't think he's really out there like that. But like he had a dude, Dr. Dre, who was like willing to put him on. Like you got Wayne putting Drake on or Nicki or whoever. Like, as long as like even if you're not super out there, obviously I know Nicki is not a good example. She's very out there. She's very out there. But like if you don't necessarily have someone to do that, then you gotta be like network is important. Man. I feel like personally it's like 90%. Because if you look at the game right now, how many people can you actually point to that are actually like super talented, but they have a huge network? Yeah. And so like at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? That's right. Nice. Yeah. Just be you.
Just be you.
That's the only advice I can give. Advice: be you.
Yeah. Comes down to that. Yeah. Okay.
We're talking about lots of good stuff now. Talk a little bit about where you see yourself in 7 years. Maybe some things that you want to accomplish, like a big stage where you want to perform. Yeah, a specific 7 years.
Okay. I honestly I don't know, man. I want to be as far as I possibly can be in 7 years, and then each year continue getting further and further. Like I want to hit up international stages. I want to be in the tens of millions by then. Personally, I believe that could definitely happen. You know, maybe married, maybe got some kids, whatever. But still, like, really giving back to people and go touring internationally and all that. Like, I got people requesting that I come through that they don't live in Canada, they don't live in the States, they live in different parts of the world. Like, yo, you should come through, man, we're rooting for you over here. I'm like that's crazy. Like, I never would have thought that people would be, like, reaching out to me for that. So it's like, that's where I see myself. Like, I want everything that I can get, you know what I'm saying? Like Drake said, half was never the agreement. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want it all. So, I want it all. So that's essentially where I see myself. Like I want to be rapping with like the M's. I want to be rapping with the Logics, with the Coles, and you know, shout out J. Cole by the way for dropping that KOD album. He just dropped that. I listened to that 4 times already, man.
Life changing.
It's a lit album. It's a lit album.
It's humans. Like it's like a human, real album. Yeah. Like it's so weird. Like because. It's crazy. You're gonna get me all excited about it.
It's a good album though, man. Like
it's not the usual. And someone was like, "Well, it's not hype," and I was like, "It's not about the hype. It's an album that you listen to the lyrics, like, and even try some of those beats, like." But he went with the lyrics and went deep into okay, if you want to do this music thing, here's my advice.
Yeah.
And he like the KOD and touching on all three subjects of what he means. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. 1980. I actually like that 1985 track. It was lit.
Yeah.
It was popping like, okay, good.
Okay.
Advice from Uncle
Right?
Cole, man,
Yeah.
Jermaine.
A
Dog,
diss
you know?
without a diss.
Yeah, so it's lit. It's lit.
And the way, and anyway, we won't get too excited
Yeah.
here. So, all right. Something related to that, to the 7 years question. Just backtracking real quick.
Yeah.
Because you said that you wanted to influence the world, and do big stuff. What would be a landmark, like something that okay, yeah.
It says yes, I've done this.
Yeah. For a real Trip J.
When Trip J is a household name, like I want people to like if someone hears Trip J, they're not confused like who is that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that by that time it will definitely happen for sure. Like if you think about it, like Eminem, when you say Eminem, everyone knows who Eminem is. No matter where you are in the world, oh, I heard that name. At least you've heard it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or Jay-Z or Lil Wayne, whatever. In Africa, they still call him Weezy. Like, Weezy. They go crazy. Cause I was living there, these guys were off on these guys. I'm like, okay, solid. That's the thing. Like, that's what, like, you want influence like that. You want people to at least, you know, have a positive, you want to have a positive message and then people be influenced by that. So if you look at what, you know, all these bigs have done, the reason why people know their name is because they influence, you know, for the better. And so, yeah, you know, that's kind of, that's what will dictate kind of what's like where you're at. You know, people actually know who you are. Like sometimes I quote Drake sometimes a lot. You know? Different, even Eminem or whatever. But like I think in the line, this dude like way back is like, it's been 2 years since somebody asked me who I was. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the greatest. I knew that before. Right? Whatever. He's something along those lines. I said that before I knew I was. Whatever. But that's like that's what I want. Yeah. You know, I want to be a household name, and so that's where it's going.
Okay, you say Wizzy.
Wizzy.
I heard you from Nigeria.
I am Nigerian.
You are?
Yes,
Nigerian.
I am.
How does that influence your music?
I never.
Or does it have influence your music?
It doesn't really, personally. Like I'll still like talk about being, you know, Nigerian, Canadian, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say it necessarily influences it. Obviously, I want to make the country proud. I've never been there though. Mm-hmm. And my parents are from there. I lived in Ghana for a couple of years.
Oh, okay, so that's right. Okay.
Shout out Ghana, by the way. Black Stars, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? No, like there's a lot of cool memories there. I didn't like it at first because it's a culture shock. But it does give you perspective to see, like, because there's, when I was there, at least in the area I was living in, it wasn't really a financially great spot. Like there's a lot of levels of poverty where I was at, and so just to kind of see that and like understand that you take things for granted here in North America for sure, that does help in a sense. Like I'll talk about that stuff, and you kind of relate to Nigeria a little bit, but I wouldn't say Nigeria itself influences the music that I'm making. You know?
More so Africa as a whole.
Maybe exactly.
I say your perspective and how you see life.
Life perspective. Maybe I'll put on an accent a little bit. African accent. I won't do it here.
Where's the work though?
Huh?
When you say Wizzy.
Yeah, Wizzy. Yeah, that's why you say Wizzy. Yeah, no, that's how you get for free. I'm going. It's cool though. It's cool being part of like from a different. It's Canada, right? Like we're all from different places. Like I think every single person here is from a different place in the world. So
that's great. Like it's the melting pot.
Go
downtown and it's like holy shit. Okay, there is one of each race. Like
and now it's like mixed and everything. So it's like that's cool. I like it.
I love it back that way. So how many interviews? 16 interviews. You know what's coming up. We have this little thing that me and Yaz do, and it's called the buzz question.
Okay.
Alright.
Cool.
So we just ask question. Usually we want it to be quick. It's just not. It doesn't always succeed.
First thing that comes to your mind.
But the first thing that comes to mind.
Cool.
Alright. Ready?
Is it just one question or multiple?
It's gonna be
multiple.
Cool. Alright, first one.
Ready?
Favorite food?
Fufu.
Hey. Woo. The cameraman got excited.
I'm sure.
Fufu. Can you tell a little bit about fufu?
Fufu, it's lit.
It's lit.
You pound it out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then,
the banana and
cassava, banana, whatever it is, plantain, whatever you're using. You got some light soup there. It tastes nice, you know what I'm saying? Banku as well, you know, for all the Ghanaians out there. So,
Africa, you got me excited. Alright. Yeah. You are at the club. What's the first drink you order?
I drink. I'm not a drinker like that. You know, I drink light. So maybe like a cranberry vodka.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I'm not like a drinker like that.
It's great.
That's just me personally. I'll drink light, you know, because I still want to be able to assess what's happening.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid
great.
like that, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm chilling.
That's amazing.
Favorite spot in Calgary?
Spot in Calgary, my house right now. Anywhere if I'm staying there, I like. Yeah, I'm just saying my house. I'm just
Yes. Okay. If you had a place in the world that you could go to, what would that be? One place.
Still my house.
Still your house.
Yeah. I like being productive. I like working, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like if you're gonna go anywhere, it's gonna be the work. Like if you look at all these guys that tour, they bring their studio stuff with them. Like I like working personally. That's just me.
And they can rewind and say you say you're an introvert, so that.
Yeah. So
Or
at
you
the end
know.
of the day, we're going back to the crib, yo, like Chris Brown. Yeah. That's just me. I like to travel. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh, Jerry, what's wrong with this?
I'm like anywhere in the world, 7 billion people.
Yeah, my house.
How many continents?
My house.
Your house.
Yeah, whatever that
Amazing.
is.
Original, man. Original.
Okay, next question here. If you could work with one producer, any producer, who would that be?
One.
Yeah.
Shoot, goddamn. That would have to be Dre.
Yeah.
Dre, yeah.
It sure is.
I gotta follow in the footsteps of the you know the greats, you know, like my idol. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, that'll be Dre for sure.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I love how we started the interview with Eminem. 'Cause
Yeah.
that is your influence.
Yeah.
You hope we see that feature pretty soon
Yeah,
here.
you'll see.
Like
Yeah,
this.
you'll be lit.
All right, that was the last question of the buzz question. You did fantastic, man.
Yeah? Oh my gosh,
I'll give
thank
it
you
back.
guys.
Real trip television, man, buzz.
Shush.
All right, two more questions. That should be the last question. But you are our first artist in the interview, and that's quite an exclusive because we only take Calgary people.
Yeah.
But that's based in Edmonton.
Cool.
Why the move, and what would you say is the difference between
The cities?
the cities?
Well, move was because I went to Purdue for school. I was going to be, believe it or not, I was going to be an ophthalmologist. I was going to be an eye surgeon.
Really?
And so obviously I cut that. I dashed my family's hopes.
Oh,
I threw that to the mud, unfortunately.
Every time.
And
When
then,
you say music. It's like, oh.
Yeah. My mom wanted to slap me quick because she's Nigerian. That's the
Oh.
thing. You say if you're not a lawyer, you're not a doctor, you're not an engineer. It's a slap thing.
Yeah, you go.
So yeah, anyway.
Business owner, pilot, anyway.
Yeah. So
Anything but music.
yeah, anything. So anyway, I moved back. My family had moved to Edmonton by that time because we were in Calgary before, and so I'm just like, okay, I moved back in with the family. Whatever. I was 19, and so came back, and they were living in Edmonton, so I lived in Edmonton, and that's I've been there for going on 7 years.
Okay.
Obviously, I grew up here in Calgary. Comparatively, the city of Calgary I think is beautiful personally.
Come to Calgary.
100% come to Calgary, 2YC, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
But I think in Edmonton, I don't know. I feel like people are generally nicer. Not like I'm not saying like Calgarians aren't nice or whatever, but I feel like I find that there's a lot more openness in Edmonton in terms of just personalities and what people are willing to accept, and just like it's a lot easier to break through things in Edmonton than I'd say here. Even though like it's not like it's hard, but it's like you can definitely tell. Like, and I hear this from a lot of people. Like people that have moved from Calgary, or people that moved from Edmonton to Calgary, they all tell me the same thing. Just like yo, like it's like it's a change. Like kind of people. Obviously, you love all people, but you can definitely tell a change. But obviously, Calgary wins for the aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty city. You know what I'm saying? So it's lit. It's popular.
Just city. Top 5 cleanest in the world.
Yeah,
Yes, come on.
it's hometown, man. I'm proud of it. I'm
Flame
proud of
City.
it.
All right. Last question. You want to ask me?
Alright. YYYC. Why
YYYC.
Calgary?
Like, what do you mean?
What should people watch? Why is Calgary exciting? Why should people choose Calgary?
Calgary is going to be part of the future in terms of hubs for hip hop. I believe
think
that.
so?
Yeah, I believe that.
What do you think is missing us then, or how do you get there as a scene? Why YYC?
It's
As
just
you say, will be.
Yeah, I think that it's there's a lot of different elements that have to work towards that. Like if you look at Toronto right now, there's a lot of support that's there for the hip hop community. Obviously, there's a lot more people, but like I think that's what needs to be seen here. If you look at Atlanta or LA or New York, I want Calgary and Edmonton to really be like the hub of that. That's why I started this kind of moniker called like New Atlanta, and a lot of people don't understand what that means. But what it essentially is like I want this like Alberta to be the new hub of hip hop and like a place where a lot of artists are coming through, honing their talents, whatever, and blowing up. Cause I see that we have the work ethic. It's just that as hip hop becomes more and more influential in the cities, I think that's what's gonna happen. And so I'm predicting that I'm calling it earlier than what it is.
Hey.
I don't think anyone really from Calgary has popped yet. I know shout out 17, shout out Cash, shout out Billy Bishop, shout out Kev the Prince.
Those names came
you know what I'm saying? But I know one of us has to, and once one of us does, it is what it is. So everyone else is gonna pop. Rising tide raises all ships. So I'm hoping to be the rising tide, but if it's anyone else, I'm cool with that too. It's lit.
Nice.
Popping.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Real Trip J answer to YYYC.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Another episode of YYYC brought to you by Buzz 403
and YYC Records. One thing.
Yeah.
Can you ask to our audience anything that you want us to follow you?
Yeah. Follow me on TheRealTripJ everywhere. I don't have Snap, but hit me up on IG, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook. Send me an email, Jerry_Joshua.
Whoa!
I got people sending me emails, man. To be honest with you,
email.
So it's lit. Like people hit me up from everywhere. So whatever you got, just hit me up. It's lit.
Hey,
the real Trip,
right? Same for us. YYCRecords.com.
And Buzz403.com.
And check the link right below. That was YYYC with the Real Trip J. Yas, Telly. Chat to you guys.
Such a pretty girl, too much beauty for the eyes. Tell me, baby, what you doing here tonight? Don't you got a man? Don't you got a man? If you don't, then I'ma take you home and make some plans. Yeah, I'ma get you lit and take you to the sky. Yeah, take that sexy body, baby, for a ride. Your man is such a loser, girl, but you are such a bride.